Hi there. This is a quick introduction to my website and the functionality that I need, in this instance converting OpenStreetMaps over to Mapbox Streets. So this is my website. It's still in development at the moment. This is a demo page where you can see a number of markers on the page. If the map here is OpenStreetMaps, the base OpenStreetMap map, if I mouse over any of these markers, we get some options. So the way that I've set this up is that if I click zoom in, it will zoom in to a certain level where what I call the satellite markers, the markers around the major marker there with the eye on it, appear. Going in further, if I go to say this one for instance and click zoom in again, I then get all the way into the level that has the highest amount of detail in OpenStreetMaps, which shows things such as service stations and track data. What I would like to do is, the problem with OpenStreetMaps is that while it has a lot of detail, it doesn't have any terrain shading showing mountain ranges, and overall, particularly the zoomed out regions, doesn't look incredibly exciting. It's very flat. So looking over at the Mapbox version, if I am to just zoom out a little bit, while it is zoomed out. So the area that we were in was, come down here, down in this section down here. You can see that there's a whole lot of terrain shading, which is nice. So there are benefits to running the Mapbox map over the OpenStreetMap. Where Mapbox falls down is, if I just zoom in a little bit more, this is the area that we'll use as a comparison. So if I just go to this tab here, you can see in the OpenStreetMap data there's quite a lot of information going on here. If I have a look at the Mapbox for comparison, a lot of the OpenStreetMap data has been left out. So what the goal is to use the Mapbox Streets map, but to incorporate this amount of detail that can be seen in the OpenStreetMap map. Now I understand that Mapbox Streets, like I could go into Mapbox and I could probably edit this myself, but there are certain zoom ranges that, for instance, these tracks will appear or won't appear, and I've looked at the documentation and it seems very complicated, too complicated for me to be able to extend the zoom range permitted for Mapbox to get these to get this at this zoom level. It may appear at a higher zoom level, but I actually want this zoom level here. In fact, the only difference is that I can see that if I zoomed in, there is a fuel marker there. That would be good to have at one level back as well. I believe that it won't drag Mapbox down too much in terms of CPU usage or whatever resources to have this much data at this level, and zooming out further than here would do exactly the same thing as what OpenStreetMaps does. It starts to fade out the information so that the computer doesn't slow down. But as it stands, to repeat that, OpenStreetMaps, sorry, I should say Mapbox Streets, you really need to zoom in to start getting some detail back into the map. So that's where I really like Mapbox Streets, but it's just the zoom level and the coloring, this white coloring. I've looked at various different areas around Australia that I've covered, and the red certainly stands out more in some areas next to creeks and things that are blue than a white trail. So all of this data here I'm happy with, the coloring, everything. I just want exactly that to be converted over into Mapbox Streets. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I have another developer who is helping me put the Mapbox into my map, so there's no real problems with converting the map over in here. That's a different job for a different person. It really is just giving me a URL for a restyled map, as I've just discussed my needs. So that's a basic brief. That's the basic brief. I'm sure there will be questions, and we'll see how we go. Thanks so much. Thanks for listening.